Hi, this is Calais with Calais Customs Creations, and I have a Facebook group called The Peachy Pig. You can also find me on Instagram under The Peachy Pig. I want to talk about paint pulling, because you're going to probably hear that a lot when dealing with DIY paint. So what happens is I put this paint up here and I start to pull. Now see how it starts to run out of paint? And that paint's really thick and it's going on smooth, and then all of a sudden it just kind of starts to not slide as gracefully. Well, this can cause you to put streaks, deep streaks, because you're having to press hard to get the paint on there. And with DIY paint, you should have a soft stroke on here, not pressing down too hard. So, in order to get your paint to go further and cover a lot more surfaces, is just to add the water. Now we add the water to thin it down, and now my paint is going to glide softly. And I have hardly any pressure being applied to the brush. Now over here it's starting to grab. It's pulling. It's not being an effective brush stroke. Turn it over, I have a little more paint. Still it's pulling, creating these right here, which we don't want. Now I can go in, and this is a big mistake that a lot of people make when they're first using DIY paint, is they put too much paint on their piece. Yeah, now I've made perfect coverage, right? Probably don't even have to have another coat. The problem is now I have deep brush strokes that may or may not settle on their own. So, because I don't want those, what I would need to do is apply the water. Now I can take all this paint off and pull it up off there and cover the rest of this piece on this wall. And I can come down here and just sit here and I can brush it slightly. There's hardly any pressure being used. And I can cover up everything. And it's starting to dry, because this paint does dry very quickly. So we just need to add some water and go some more. Now I barely dipped my brush this whole time, but by adding that water, I've made more coverage and made it more complete. If I don't add water, I'm gonna waste a lot of paint and have a big thick coat on here. The pigmentation in DIY paint is so high that these little brush strokes that you see in here, where you can still see the brown, most of those are going to disappear once this first coat dries. So there's a little technique talking about paint pulling.